You thought that wouldn't come around to you, round to you. You know I was down for you, down for you. Now I'm wishing that I never bowed to you, bowed to you. I'm in this shit I can't get out of. I ain't proud, I hate the sound of all these songs about you, songs about you. You know I was wrong about you, wrong about you. Let you hold on to this cash, let you hold on to. I'm in this shit I can't get out of. I ain't proud of it. I'm running out of time to hold you close, running out of time to be your man. I'm just lost in this moment. I've been zoning. I'm running out of time to hold you down, running out of time to be your man. I'm just lost in this moment. I've been zoning. I've been zoning.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing match here at the Rose League. I'm your play-by-play for the evening, Captain Jack, joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Dr. Heathen on the color caster role. How you doing tonight, Dr. Heathen?
I'm doing well. We got the All-Stars night tonight, so it should be really fun.
It is going to be amazing. People in chat already saying, go watch another stream. Well, you know what? You're going to be missing out, folks. I am just saying, because it is going to be an amazing matchup. We've got East meets West here on Ilios. Going to start off at the Lighthouse to see how these teams are going to go ahead and play against one another. Now, these are a composition of all-star of members of teams in our Platinum division that were chosen for the All-Stars match. Ideally, these are essentially the best of the best. So it's going to be incredibly interesting to see how these two teams play against one another and which team is going to end up coming out on top tonight. Our fourth match is going to be a very screwy one that our audience will get to choose. So we really hope that you stick around long enough to be able to vote on that and watch the absolutely amazing chaos that we will be causing today. It will be fantastic. But while we go ahead and wait for them to prepare to attack, Dr. Heathen, why don't you tell us what you're seeing right now for the teams?
Okay, so right now on the blue team, Eastern team, we have the classic Moira Torbjorn Symmetra composition, always a favorite, super meta right now. And on the opposite side, we see the classic counter to that, which is the Torbjorn May Doomfist triple DPS composition backed up by a solo healing Mercy. Should be interesting once they run the point to see which Torbjorn can win in the Torbjorn.
It is going to be interesting. Turret already coming out for the side of Eastern, as Western already using that shield to their advantage. Muffin's going to follow up on Asenyata's shield, and Lucio Ball is going to get the kill on Asenyata as Muff falls to Muffins right there. The res comes in for Asenyata as we see the Western team moving into the objective right now, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and start control. Asenyata already getting the first punch kill of the evening onto Muffin as both Lucio Ball and Morsa go ahead and take out their respective opposite for turrets. 10% and climbing right now for the Western team as U Pickles able to get in the back line as Sage follows up onto Asenyata as well. Lucio Ball able to take down Ray, but the rest comes in from Neutron as Kitsune ends up taking down Puff. It's a continued fight for the map. The teams aren't really grouping up as Muffins go ahead and take down Ray. The hack comes in onto Sage and Lucio Ball ends up taking down Neutron, and I think the Eastern team is gonna go ahead and try to get reset up for another push. 40% right now for the side of Western.
This is looking like a really strong bunker right now coming up from Western time. There's not a whole lot of resources on the Eastern team to get close, but as I say that, Wrecking Ball looking to come in, but he's going to get frozen up. He can't get anywhere.
That's not a good position to be in as the Blizzard comes out from Lucio Ball. They take Puff out of the fight. Kitsune following up on Morsa, who's walking around as the Sombra looking to try to get in as well. Ray looks like they swapped over to the May as well. Ends up getting taken out by Sage as Kitsune ends up taking down Asenyata's turret. 66% and climbing right now as the Western team is holding this no holds bar. We're going to see Muffins take down Asenyata and Ew Pickles with the whole hog following up on Austin Yada's turret. Muffin's getting a turret kill on Morsa, and C4OS taking down their counter Neutron as the Mercy. 84% and climbing, and Western isn't looking to give up the objective anytime soon.
Yeah, we're not seeing any composition switches from both sides, and right now it's going to be very difficult for them to get to point because Muffins does have Molten Core ready.
The EMP comes out, but it only ends up getting one as Putin gets the double kill on Austin Yada and Ray. The Torb turret from Muffins ends up taking down Neutron after the res and follows up on Austin Yada as well. Molten Core all over the place, and with 100-0, Western Division team gonna go ahead and take the lead in this series right now on Helios.
Yeah, I think the real struggle of that composition that Eastern team was running, at least there at the end, the 0 tank composition, highly experimental.
Yeah,
but it's going to be difficult to run into a bunker comp with that. Just however you put it, getting past the shield, you're going to take so much damage, and they lost so many people on the way there. That's just super challenging for them to try and dislodge that bunker comp. And switching up onto this map, it looks like both teams are committing a little bit harder this time to the bunker, pulling out the Baptiste on both sides. I say that, but Eastern actually just swapped off Baptiste.
They're gonna stay on to the Lucio Mercy for that team, but they're also pulling. Oh, both teams are pulling out a Bastion this time around, so they're looking to really shore this up. The only difference we see is Morsa coming in on the Roadhog, which is really good for well as we go ahead and start moving ourselves in. Muffin's getting the first kill there on Neutron as gets the punch onto Huff right there. The Rez trying to come in, but ends up missing as Austin Yada's turret takes down and C4OS. Lucio Ball and Muffins follow up on Morsa, and Pickles as Austin Yada getting in the backline takes down Sage, but Kitsune takes down Austin Yada as well, and that is going to be another claim for the Western Division, 8% and climbing.
When we're thinking about these compositions, we may want to start thinking about Mercies as DPS, because I've seen both Mercies fully willing to go all Battle Mercy. Puff even pulling out the pistol there into a Roadhog. Last time I saw Chaos trying to Battle Mercy straight into a Moira, but during Coalescence, it's really challenging to do that.
Oh, is it Chaos? I wanted to make sure on that, but we didn't have time before the match.
Oh yeah, it's Chaos.
I will stick with that then. All right, 30% and climbing. The Immortality field gets popped up, but there's not really a whole lot around there. Here comes the Amplification Matrix out from as Muffins get the double kill onto Ray and Austin Yada right there. Getting the uppercut onto Puff after the res on Austin Yada, but it looks like they're going to clean up a majority of the rest of the team. Austin Yada does get a pick onto but it's not going to be enough to dislodge this bunker comp. 50% and climbing for the Western Division.
Yeah, they made a pretty good use of that amplification matrix there on the Western Division side. But going into this next objective, we should be seeing both Bastion ults coming out as well as both Mercy ults, but we see Eastern has the supercharger, or I'm sorry, Western has the supercharger available, and that's probably going to be the difference maker. Bastion taken out immediately, though. Nothing I just talked about.
Rez comes in. As they look to get set up behind. I'm not exactly for certain why they're trying to move behind so easily. Here comes the Molten Core out from Muffins, ends up taking down Neutron, and Sage pops the tank mode, takes down Austin Yada. The hook comes in from Morsa, doesn't end up getting much of anything as he comes in with the Doomfist, but ends up getting taken out by Ray just before Kitsune follows up on that. Pickles finds themselves at the bottom of the well thanks to Sage, as well as Morsa, and the res is going to come in for 97, 98, 99%. Neutron just barely able to touch as the Winston as the Amplification Matrix comes out once again. They're going to continue to fight forward as we now see a Hammond from Morsa hitting the objective. Ray ends up getting taken down by as Pickles does get the kill onto Lucio Ball, so no amplification matrix on the point, but it's not gonna matter as we see the Western Division go ahead and take the first map of the evening, Helios.
Yeah, that was just classic bunker composition. They had the supports they needed, the tanking power they needed. The Torbjorn Bastion's just a lot of damage, and it was really difficult for Eastern to set up their own Bastion once Western had been set up a point. Really nicely played, a really strong composition coming out on that team.
So I have to say I really agree with Jedi Ron Paul in the chat. asking, it says, to be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand Torb's rivet gun, because the projectile arc is extremely subtle, and without a solid grasp of theoretical physics, most of the shots will go over a typical player's head. I'm not for certain about the theoretical physics part, but I do agree that Torb's rivet gun at a distance does an incredible amount of distance, and we didn't see that so much there at the end coming out from Muffins on the Torbjorn, but during the match we were seeing a lot of long distance picks, and if as the Torb you're able to kind of determine that arc, if you will, and get a really good grasp of that, then you will end up pulling it out, and that's exactly what the West ended up doing. We hope you're enjoying yourselves. If this is your first time joining us, we are the Rose League, a competitive Overwatch team. Currently, this season, we have finished up the regular season and are currently in the playoffs portion of our matches. You're seeing our Platinum Division All-Stars this evening. If you would like to continue to follow the action, go ahead, hit the heart button at the top of your screen. You can even go ahead and hit that sub button, $4.99 a month, or a Twitch Prime or Amazon Prime free subscription. Will continue to support our community and the 79 teams that we have been serving this last season. And I gotta say, I am continuing to be excited as to what is going to be coming next season. Lots of great ideas are being popped out. We're starting a Pugs group so that during the off season we can continue to bring you some awesome action at least a couple times a week, so that we can give our casters and producers a break from the 6 day a week grind that we have them on right now. But we just love all the support that y'all give us day in and day out. So we are going to Kings Row, it looks like, for our next match, which was chosen by the Eastern team. So it looks like we may be looking to get some of that those long distance shots going off. And we're not even going to look at the red team, because if they're really going to run that, I'm going to be really surprised.
Oh, I don't doubt they're going to run that.
Not to say that it wouldn't work, but it would be really hard.
The 5 DPS comp? Oh, I'm pretty confident they're going to be running this, looking at everything being said in the Discord.
Oh boy. Nope, it looks like they will run Kitsune on the hog, or not the hog, but the Hammond at least. So yes, 79 teams, Eternal Soul. We had 79 teams this season. Of course, at this point, we don't have that many, because some have dropped out over the time, but when we started the season, there were 79 teams signed up. It was absolutely incredible.
60 at the end of the team.
Really? But that's still incredible. Like, most of the groups that I know about only have about 12 or maybe 20 at max. So the fact that we're running 60 is crazy. Let's go ahead and get into the action. Austin Yada takes down Chaos as they move their way in. DPS composition trying to get into that backline. And we're going to actually see Kitsune go ahead and try to touch the objective. That ends up having to pull out right there. You see in the backline, Sage trying to get some hacks onto Ray right there, but unable to be successful as they take down Muffins. Just before that, Kitsune going to get taken down by Ray as well. As the hack comes in, Austin Yada going to turn right around and put a rocket right between Sage's eyes. 3 minutes, 5 seconds remaining, and it seems like this bunker composition is going to continue to hold strong.
Yeah, both teams really favoring the bunker composition right now. Heard a lot of people mentioning that it's become kind of an Orisa meta, and that she's really good in less coordinated teams and having movable time to repair. It's looking like a really strong composition. Kitsune on
the amplification matrix already coming out from Ew Pickles, but doesn't end up getting much of anybody. Whom does end up falling at the end of that, and the first tick is going to be captured. Oh no, so close, but not close enough. Kitsune almost grabbing that first tick on the objective. Lucio Ball able to take down Morsa there in the backline, as Kitsune still trying to get that first tick on the objective. 2 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock as they continue to fight down the long sideline. Here comes the Dragon Strike, ends up taking down Pickles, so there's no invincibility field. Here comes the Diva Bomb out from Puff, ends up taking down as the barrage comes down, ends up taking down Ray by Lucio Ball, but Muffins and Kitsune fall to Asunyata and Neutron. Lucio Ball also killing themselves as Puff cleans up the rest of the objective, taking down Sage and Chaos. I am just completely floored of how well they were able to continue to hold that point after Yo Pickles was taken out of the fight.
Yeah, no ticks given. Down a healer, that was pretty amazing, but going into this next fight, it's going to be a lot more challenging because EMP is ready.
EMP and Minefield will be coming up as well as Valkyrie, so we're going to have some large dealing. Here comes the EMP, ends up getting 3. The Minefield going down, looking to do some damage as we see Puff try to eat up as much as possible. Meteor Strike comes down, takes down 2 as Asunyata pops the barrage, takes down but Lucio Ball takes down Asunyata mid-barrage. Morsa ends up getting taken down by Chaos as Puff, the only one remaining on the objective, ends up getting demexed by Kitsune and will get staggered and taken out of the fight. First tick, second tick with 60 seconds remaining on the clock as they continue to fight for the objective, and it looks like the Western Div is going to go ahead the Eastern Div is going to go ahead and give up the objective, Eastern Div going to give it up to the Western, and they're going to go ahead and start moving their way into the payload portion of the map. We're now seeing a Rhine Zarya composition coming out with everyone else kind of staying on the heroes they were starting with. Asunyata takes down Lucio Ball for the first pick of this push as the payload moves past the choke point. 2 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock. Trying to get some fist in there in the back line, ends up getting taken down by Puff instead, as we see a flailing Neutron working their way back to try to get anyone behind them. Here comes the Minefield once again, but the Diva Bomb comes down from Puff, looking to clear the field, ends up taking down Chaos as well, as the Immortality Field keeps everybody up during the Minefield portion. The barrage ends up coming down from Lucio Ball, takes down both healers, Morsa and Yo Pickles. Lucio Ball following up on Puff after the DMEC as Muffins gets a Storm Arrow kill on Ray. That will solidify the continued push of the objective. 2 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, and going into this next objective, there's not a whole lot of ultimates available for the eastern side to use, and they're recognizing that. They're swapping off. They're now on a Sombra Goats composition, but with what they're doing right now, they're pretty much going to have to give up the rest of second point. There's not a whole lot of room for them to work with.
That is definitely going to be interesting for sure. 1 minute 40 or 1.43 meters on the distance for the payload with 1 minute 40 seconds on the clock as Muffins ends up getting the Storm Arrow kill on Neutron that secures objective 2, allowing them to have 3 minutes on the clock. Now, the only issue that I have with the current composition that they're running is the fact that they don't really have anybody to take care of Lucio Ball on the Pharah. That could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. As they're moving into this final objective point, they do have the high ceilings that they will have to deal with.
I don't think the Pharah is making as big of a splash as this Doomfist is right now.
And there comes the splash from the barrage. Ends up getting the triple kill in the backline. Taken down. Chaos back to the safety of the team, and looks like they will end up being successful. Or no, actually no, they're doing it. Like Battle Mercy goes Chaos, but will Chaos be able to get out and will end up being successful? The Minefield comes out as the Dragon Strike also hits Graviton. Oh no! And we rip. We just lost knee again.
Yep, we did. We still live though?
No worries.
We live, or...
It's just not your week, fam. Okay, it's all right, folks. As we go ahead and get the producer back in here, Dr. Heathen, tell me what you've been seeing going into this final push. Do you think they're going to be able to solidify that, or are we going to see them kind of give it up with the 2 minutes they have on the clock?
2 minutes on the clock. The defense have a lot of ultimates going right now. They're dropping the Graviton Surge. They have the Nano Boost on the Reinhardt. They have the Rally out, and there's not much to counter it. There's potentially the Doomfist ultimate, but right now this fight looks like it's definitely going the way of Eastern team. I'd be super surprised if I were wrong about that, but it's going to come down to the next fight. Because there is that 2 minutes, 6 seconds left on the clock. They did just burn through 4 of their ultimates. Are we good?
Yep, we're good to go. Let's go ahead and unpause and get going once again. It looks like Daddy Jeff was just being a pain. Just wanted to get on our bad side this evening. But we're not going to let that happen because this is the All-Star game. And nothing's going to take us down. Goodness. Looking in the chat, somebody's like, just download more RAM. And
here we go.
I do not want to fix my computer.
Graviton is out and caught up
tail. Oh, that's going to be a quick cleanup, and it looks like Eastern still holding strong for the most part. Lucio Ball does get the boop kill onto Neutron, but they do have the quick reset right there as they go ahead and set up the defense once again. 1 minute 45 seconds on the clock. Ultimate advantage in the side of Eastern right now, but does have the Meteor Strike, which could dislodge some of this if put in the right position. Lucio Ball also has the, yep, here comes Meteor Strike coming in as Pickles Ore taken out of the fight. Where's it gonna land? It looks like it was just used mostly as a retreat. Hatsunyata coming in with the quad EMP, ends up getting Kitsune down thanks to Ray. Sage able to take down Hatsunyata and Neutron though, which does not look good for them as we see he working in the back line trying to get some picks, ends up going to the high ground to escape the charged laser of Ray. Hatsunyata moves their way to the high ground, looking to try to take down Chaos, but is going to end up getting chased out of there. The barrage comes down from Lucio Ball, ends up getting the double on Hatsunyata and Morsa, and Pickles takes down Hatsunyata. It looks like there was a beat drop coming in from Pickles, but ends up getting stunned out, and Sage using the Deadeye ends up taking down Ray as Puff uses the flail to take down It is back and forth right now. 30 seconds on the clock. The Dragon Strike ends up coming out from Muffin. Ends up getting the kill onto Neutron right after Neutron takes down Kitsune. Puff and Borsa following up on Sage and Chaos as Muffin and return the favor onto Puff and Ray. They continue to fight around the objective. It looks like they're going to pull back and regroup. 15 seconds remaining on the clock right now as Pickles and Morsa are the only two near the objective. We're now going to see Neutron join the payload fight as we're now seeing Kitsune swap over to the Winston, and Lucio Ball now coming in on the Zarya. Neutron almost getting booped off the side. Here comes the Nano looking to do some damage. Here comes the Shatter, but ends up getting moved out of the way. Doesn't end up getting anybody. Neutron able to get the hammer kill onto Sage and takes down Morsa. Hatsunyata following up on as Kitsune takes down Neutron. Muffin's following up on Pickles as Lucio Ball uses the turret to take down Ray as Hatsunyata takes down Kitsune. Is taken down by Kitsune. They're going to go ahead in overtime and grab objective 3. And this is going to put them in a possibly good, possibly bad position going into this this next round, because if we end up seeing the Eastern team taking the final objective point with over a minute on the clock, then they don't have another chance. They will either tie up this match by defending, or they will end up losing it if we see the Eastern team take objective 1 for a second time. What do you think about that, Dr. Heathen? Do you think Eastern's kind of showing their true colors and going to bring out the rage on this attack?
I mean, bringing out the rage, bringing out their best compositions. I'm a little doubtful. We're seeing a lot of quad, penta, PS compositions, but I guess we're seeing most of that coming out of Western. Right now, we're seeing East sit on the GOATS composition for that last point, so they might be pulling out one of the more serious compositions from the more meta, if you'd say, compositions, but what they have in Spawn is not indicative of that at the moment.
No, it is not.
On the defense, we have that bunker comp that both teams seem to be liking to fall back to on defense. It's been a staple across both maps so far.
Yeah, it's just something that's been really... Whoa, what? No way! No
the teleport
way.
on the high ground.
What? I have never seen this done before. This is incredible. setting up on the very tippy top. It may not be a good position for them to be in. They do have the teleporter there in the back line, but we're going to go ahead and see already two on the eastern front moving their way back to end up and taking the objective. That's first tick already down. They're trying to move their way in. They were set up just a little too far forward. Trying to spawn camp is not the way to go. Almost getting that second tick, and now we're going to see the Western team move their way back to the objective, getting a couple kills on Morsa and Asenyata as they move their way back. Thankfully, they were able to be successful in reclaiming that, because honestly, they were put in a really bad position right there.
Yeah, they essentially got put on the attacking side, but as the defenders, and they did a pretty good job of attacking that point. They moved a little bit spread out, but that wasn't able to be capitalized on by any of the attackers, I'm going to say, Eastern team. We see a kill in the backline, and that means that there's going to be a bit of a wait before the next push. I don't think, unless...
Yeah, but they may or they may not. It looks like they're moving their way around the field. Kitsune ends up taking down Morsa, though, as Lucio Ball gets the turret kill onto Neutron. And that's something that they seem to be missing during this fight right now, is that having, like, with the update that came to Symmetra not too, well, I'd say maybe pretty long ago now, her turrets do a lot more damage very quickly. If you are not focusing those quick enough, which they don't have a Winston, which is really what you want, it's going to continue to eat away at them, and that's what we're continuing to see right here. We're going to see the hack come into the back line as Pickles takes down Chaos for the start of the fight, so they're already starting one up. A very interesting position right here as they set up on the high ground of the statue with the Symmetra turret. EMP comes down, ends up getting 5, and they're going to take advantage of it. The ultimate coming in right now as Morsa gets the kill with the Meteor Strike. Ray and Puff following up on Kitsune and Lucio Ball. That's going to be 2 ticks. 3 ticks, and right now Chaos is a little caught out of position as they try to retreat back to the team. Morsa punch.
I'm sorry, you might be cutting out a little?
Yep, I did cut out right there because everything froze on my end, so it looks like Papa Jeff is going to start messing with me now. So that was an amazing pick on the Mercy as... But now we're going to see swap over to the Doomfist as well. Lucio Ball coming in on the Sombra, and Muffin swap over to the Hanzo as well. So they're getting out of that bunker composition, running their own single tank comp, and Puff getting that boop kill on stage is not going to be a good way to start that.
Well, they're going to have to resurrect coming in on going into this next engagement. It looks like they want to hold it close. They do have all 6 of the members right now, though. Mercy is on the flank with her pistol out. And it looks like the defenders are going to be forced back. Eastern is taking control of the streets at the moment. Lucio Ball falling over to the side, and it looks like Reinhardt's going to do the same. Western need to regroup at this moment, but it looks like Moon's going in. He smells blood, and he's not going to find any. Taken out by Asenyata. That means that the second point is going to be capped in its entirety by East. Yep. Definitely going to happen, but there's a last second contest by Lucio Ball, and he's going to be shut out on point.
Sorry about that. It looks like Papa Jeff's going to mess with me next. So let me go ahead and make my way back in here to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and right now we see kind of a roll on the point, being taken out of the fight. Cubicle being forced back, and Morsa has all the room in the world to run around. Not enough to quite stop the resurrect, but Sage is in a bad spot. He's not going to live for very long despite the resurrection, and Chaos is going off as the Battle Mercy, getting 1 pick, returning to the team, putting them in a pretty good situation, and is going to take the frontline position with this Doomfist, looking to go in right now. He has the Sombra support. If he can get a hack, no, he's just going to get a kill on Pickles. Pickles was not healthy enough to survive that punch, let alone the wall, and it looks like Eastern going to be forced to regroup. That's going to be fine because they have 3 minutes and 22 seconds left on the clock.
All right, I think I'm back now, hopefully. Goodness gracious. So as you said, 3 minutes, 15 seconds on the clock. They've got themselves quite the time bank moving into this last objective, but I gotta be honest, the composition that they've been running that's been working may not work as well in this final objective area unless they can get the kills, and we're getting ready to come up on full ultimates for the side of the Eastern Division. So as Neutron goes ahead and moves in, ends up looping back Kitsune. Here comes the tire, along with the quadruple EMP. The trans comes out, but that's not going to stop the tire coming in. Asunyata takes down Kitsune as Neutron follows up on stage after the Transcendence. Here comes the barrage out from Muffins, ends up taking down New Pickles as Boom follows up on Ray. Muffins able to take down Morsa as well as Asunyata falls to Lucio Ball. There are two next to the objective. Pup looking to try to take down Muffins and will end up being successful as they chase after Puff. Puff is really going all Reddit Lucio right now, but ends up getting caught between Chaos and in that side room. Gonna end up getting staggered. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left on the clock.
That was a good ultimate combination, and it looked like there was some good teamwork there, especially between the Doomfist and the Hammond, but it just felt like everything was initially a little early and nobody could get on their target. Neutron's gonna get slept down. Shot in the back line.
Scatter ends up taking down, ends up getting EU Pickles, but Sage and Chaos fall to Asunyata now on the McCree. We're also going to see Morsa swap over to the Widowmaker. 1 minute, 44 seconds on the clock. All they got to do is push that in beforehand, and they'll have themselves at least a tie. EMP ends up coming out from Lucio Balzo as Sage takes down Asunyata. Morsa follows up on Muffin. There's a 5v5 fight, makes that 4v5, 3v5 as Puff and Ray get taken out by Sage and 2v5 as Boom follows up onto Neutron, and it looks like the objective will be locked into place 1.85 meters away from its final destination, and is now working its way in reverse.
Yeah, and going into this, so they have a minute left on the clock to cap. At this point, if they do cap, it will just put it over to the second point cap, going back to the first point once again. And there, if Lucy, that's a little aggressive coming out from Neutron. He's going to get frozen. He's going to get killed.
Yeah, that's not a good position to be in. You don't want to, honestly, they should have switched over to more of a traditional position. I know that they're trying to have fun and whatnot, but if you want to win, you still got to do some stuff that works, and this is not working out, especially against Sage's May, excuse me. Asunyata and Neutron end up taking down Chaos and though, as they start moving their way in. 30 seconds remaining on the clock as the Blizzard comes out from Sage, protecting the objective as much as possible. The meteor drop ends up coming in from the high ground as we end up seeing, I thought I ended up seeing Morsa fall off the point, but must have used the hook at the last minute. Ends up taking down as Sage falls. Asunyata. Neutron ends up getting the kill on Sage, coming back in as the Reinhardt, and with no one on the objective, Western Division gonna walk away with the second win of the evening here on Kings Row.
Yeah, those were all really hectic fights. It felt like they were spread out over the entirety of where you could push on third point and a little bit into the spawn room. And it just felt like if they pushed up a little bit more and used a couple of their ultimates when their teammate was nearby, they might have had a little bit of a better impact.
Yeah, and that's something that we're probably going to see a lot of tonight. I'm actually very surprised of what we're seeing from the Western Division, because there seems to be a huge amount of coordination from people that obviously are not on the same team with one another. So to see that on one side and not see it so much on the other is kind of interesting to see kind of how these teams are turning out. As we go into the halftime, go ahead and start thinking about how you think things will turn around. Will the Eastern Division be able to tie it up, bring us to maybe a map 5? That'd be really cool. Or will the Western Division completely close us out? Also, remember, before the fourth match, you're going to end up picking what type of match our fourth and final match this evening will be between these Eastern and Western Division players in the Platinum Division. So go ahead and stay tuned. The Rose League will be back in about 5 minutes.
This is why I'll never let you go. Give me a moment, let me show you, let me pull you close. I'll take you back to the start, when all we had was a spark. Just you and I, all we ever needed. You light me up like a flame. This love cannot be contained. Your love sets me on fire. Sets me on I know you feel it, this desire burning through your skin. The way I want you and the way my body's giving in. I'll take you back to the start, when all we had was a spark. Just you and I, all we ever needed. You light me up like a flame. This love cannot be contained. Your love sets me on fire. You light me up like a flame. This love cannot be contained. Your love sets me on fire.
It kinda hurts, you know. I want the earth to know I'm going through something personal, but it could be worse, you know. I could be up in that hearse, going to meet the holy merciful. Instead, I'll be up in the burbs, bending these curbs in this convertible. I'm fighting a couple of cases, but none of them cases murder, though. The IRS hitting me up, but I can still go get me a burger, yo. People are out here jobless, thank God I got the perfect flow. The flow is mean and nice, oxymoron like a virgin hoe. Yo, I'm killing rappers all day. I'm one of the illest alive until I decide to chill and retire. I'm hitting them with that artillery fire. It'll be I against the world until I desire to chill and be quiet. Until in the industry giving me mine. Shit could get wicked, but it'll be fine. Nothing else that I could tell you. Find your lessons in your failures, cause your failures will prepare you for your blessings. If I help you face your struggles with the words I'm speaking, I'm really just helping myself, cause we are one if you believe it. Believe it.
Shit, now all of my verses are causing a bread. Sipping a 40 with shorty that used to ignore me, but now they all up on my dick. Same kid with the same heart and a better whip around fake stars. I walk around with a target that's all on my back and these haters playing darts. Rolling so deep when I roll out, blowing the smoke and it's so cow. They told me go back to my old style, know everything I do is so fire. Copping the weed from my friends, sipping on gin, killing myself with these ends. They used to not care what I said, the stroke of my pen will leave all these rappers in fear. I'm a kid like Tech and every lesson is a blessing. I do this shit for my brethren, none of these rappers got a message. When I'm feeling low, when I'm feeling down, not thinking twice, take a shot of Crown. Homies rolling out, but I pay for it. Working since my mama laid off rest.
poison on pills, so I gotta juggle the love and the guilt. We live in a concrete jungle, that means it's a jungle we built. It's kill or be killed, it's cutthroat. I know how a guillotine feel. I never was given a lie, I battle for everything that I got.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to an amazing night here and the Platinum Division All-Stars. I'm your play-by-play this evening, Captain Jack, joined by Dr. Heathen on the colorcaster role. I apologize for the issues that we've been having so far tonight. It just seems like Blizzard's trying to mess with us. I'm just saying, just something's going on. But hopefully we've got all the kinks out after that at halftime. Hopefully you're ready to see some more amazing Overwatch as we as we get down for our next match. Things are gonna get so hot and explodey. Sorry about that.
I'll see myself out.
I always scare Dr. Heathen when my alternate Junkrat personality comes out for a little bit, but it's Junkertown, and like you gotta get excited about that. This map is like everything I imagine Junkertown to be is in this map. It is just so beautifully constructed. You know, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like a Fallout utopia, if you will, and just the way that the story goes with this map makes it even that much more interesting. So I'm really excited to see what these teams are going to come out with. So why don't you go ahead and give us a heads up, Dr. Ethan?
Well, in the defense right now, we see the Widowmaker Ashe Hanzo composition. The triple sniper all out, supported by another sniper, Puff on the Ana, with Neutron on the Mercy. These are I really like the Mercy for covering for these snipers, because you have the Resurrect and they're often dead in convenient locations to be res. But on the attacker right now, we see a couple of dive characters. We have a Doomfist and a Tracer. If they can close the distance, they could be extremely deadly against this composition. But right now, it looks like the defense are all standing out in the open, gathered around their sprays, all painted on the ground. And it looks like the attackers are approaching, unsure of what to suspect here.
All right,
Neither
well,
team quite capable of firing a shot yet. A couple
I'm
shots
not for certain
thrown
either.
out. And both teams seem to have come to a peaceful agreement that nobody is going to be shooting each other as they teabag.
Nope, they're counting it off. 3, 2,
Doomfist.
1, go. Wait,
And it looks like Doomfist is kind of confused by that count. He's not moving, and Lucio will be the first to die, and he might be the only to die for a while, as we see the Mercy 1v1 beginning, and it looks like Pickles is going to interrupt that.
Oh, so they created their own mode without even telling us. So this is going to be interesting.
Defeat is the first step to a
Oh, it
better
looks
result.
like Mercy Chaos was actually killed for cheating.
Defeat.
Oh. Oh dang! I literally have no idea to cast what we're doing here.
Wait, it looks like the
They're
Torbs
counting
are
something-
stacked on each other, and
Oh,
Hanzo
it's
is
a
on
window
top
battle.
of
It's
them.
Nessington versus Lucio Ball, and whoever wins determines how far the payload. Maybe they have to get a certain number of kills before the payload moves all the way through. Lucio Ball ends up taking down Nessington during that. Chaos follows up on Neutron as Pickles takes down Lucio Ball in return. And what?
It looks like the
It looks like Torbs
are
are getting ready to go at it next. The payload's going to move forward just a little bit. The knife round, I guess, or the hammer round, rather.
Yep, they're squaring off. They're 10 yards away.
This is ridiculous. This is absolutely nuts, man. But this is exactly what we expect. Torb v Torb, and Sage
wins
gonna end up winning the Torb v Torb, allowing that payload to move a little bit further. Lucio Ball swaps over to the Bastion, ends up taking down Ray, and it's doing a boop, 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 boop on the point, just like bobbing their head to some beat of some sort. 1 minute 35 seconds on the clock right now, and honestly, I still have no idea what to say this is.
Well, the payload is moving forward, and both Mercies are pulling out their Valk, and they're going into a
They're
Mercy.
going battle Valk to the skies. Ooh, Doomfist ult ends up getting Puff as Sage takes down Ew Pickles. Asenyata getting the double kill though on Lucio Ball and Sage. Nessington follows up on Kitsune, and I think we finally have an actual match underway as Chaos gets two Muffins on the Hanzo, ends up resin them back in after getting picked off. 60 seconds remaining on the clock as the sights come out for Nessington, who ended up getting swapped in at halftime. Neutron gonna take down Chaos as Asenyata follows up on Muffins. Here comes the Molten Core all over Lucio Ball, and that's gonna take them out of the fight rather quickly. Neutron comes in with the res on Asenyata, but gets taken out by Sage as he gets followed up on by Ew Pickles. Here comes the Molten Core out from Sage, but ends up getting taken down by Asenyata's turret, still on the payload. 30 seconds on the clock, and I don't know where the game started, to be completely honest.
Well, you see, this has all been breaking down ever since the tower fell apart, which resulted in that Torb 1v1.
I guess.
Do something.
And Bob's gonna work its way into the backline, looking to do some damage, but doesn't end up getting much of anything. Takes down the turret. Dragon Strike going on to the objective as they move their way over. Puff ends up getting the kill onto Chaos as Lucio Ball sets up off the objective, ends up taking down Ew Pickles with the dynamite, takes down Lucio Ball. Overtime's gonna tick away, and Ray and are currently on the point with one another, ends up getting stunned and taken out by Nessington right there. And that is going to be it for this round. Eastern gonna walk away with a first point hold of some sort. I don't know. I really don't know what to say to this. This is so nuts.
Of course, first point hold is super uncommon, and especially after we saw Eastern both contribute less people to the human tower and lose the Torb 1v1. It looked like it was over for them, but they managed to make a last-second comeback when they started using their guns and entering an actual 6v6 deathmatch. They were able to hold the point pretty effectively there. And it's going to be interesting to see what the defense can pull out in order to try and defend on this round, as they do not have a very favorable position.
So I have to give some props to the owner, Matt, aka Clean Linens, in the chat. He posts a comment. So Matt, when you imagine success for TRL, what do you imagine? And he says, Torb 1v1 is a casting match. And to be honest, this is exactly what we want to see in the All-Star match. This isn't like supposed to be a serious matchup between these two teams. They already know kind of where they sit. They obviously know that they're the best of the best, or the most favored amongst the teams. And so this is all about kind of fun in games. And honestly, I'm just really surprised how that first part turned out. Although I don't feel like we're going to be seeing the same fervor on this one, and I wonder if maybe they were just giving Eastern kind of a give me for this map. I don't know. We'll find out.
You know, I think this is secretly somehow the result of the human tower.
That is true, and it looks like we're going to see Western Dip Ore start shutting down as and Lucio Ball take down Ew Pickles and Ray. We see Neutron around the objective right now, but ends up getting caught by Sage on the Hammond, and Kitsune on the May. Is continuing to survive no matter what, though, which is quite surprising. We're going to see Nessington now coming in as the Hammond as well, ends up helping take down Kitsune with the help of Ray, and Asenyata ends up getting the hook onto Chaos. So that's going to allow the payload to go ahead and move forward. It looks like we actually have a, looking in the chat, it says scripted game. No, believe me, if it was scripted, we'd actually know what's going on most of the time.
These are the two teams playing their absolute hardest to win these matches. The mental game that went into that last round was absolutely amazing. And right now it looks like there's a dive going on point of Sage is trying to make some space, supported by the May wall. A bit of an interesting composition, but it seems to be working for them.
Well, it's working, and then it's not, as Muffins ends up taking down Ew Pickles. Puff falls to as well. Nessington is able to take down Chaos in return, and currently we have Ray still on the objective. The hook comes in from not Nessington, but Asenyata ends up helping take down Sage with Neutron, as Ray ends up taking down Muffins follows up on Neutron, though, so that shield's going to go down pretty quick as the barrage now coming out from Lucio Ball gets shut down by Ray. Here comes the Blizzard, ends up shutting down the 2 on the objective as the minefield comes out from Sage as well. They continue to try to hold on, Puff shooting heals from a distance as long as possible, and it looks like they're winning the oof battle between the teams right now, as we see the meteor drop coming in from ends up allowing Kitsune to follow up and kill Ray right there. They're finding themselves in a very hard position as Nessington versus Kitsune on the objective right now, as Chaos ends up getting the kill on Ooh Pickles. Muffins getting the double on Nessington and Austin Yada. 1 minute 40 seconds on the clock, and Muffins is going to brush off that triple kill.
So yeah, 1 minute 30 seconds on the clock. There's not a whole lot of distance to go, but they've been pushed off the point, and they were on the Bastion composition, so now that they've made some slow off, they're a little bit behind in the ult bank, which isn't a whole lot. Chaos being taken out is the most significant factor in that fight, because the Res being gone is huge to this team.
It is, and here comes the Valk from Ew Pickles as Nessington now swapping over to the Widowmaker as well, gets picked off by Muffins as well as Ray, so no DPS on the point currently. Nessington trying to hold the objective, ends up getting taken down by Muffins as well after being frozen by Kitsune, and Nessington will end up getting Lucio Ball in the backline though. 60 seconds remaining on the clock as Sage continuing to fight alongside Kitsune continues to hold the objective. Ew Pickles going Battle Mercy trying to take out Sage, but will end up getting punched out by Chaos. Ends up getting the res on Kitsune as Zoom ends up getting the uppercut onto Ray, and Austin Yada will fall to Sage as Neutron falls to Lucio Ball. 30 seconds remaining on the clock right now, and despite the chaos that we saw in the first round on the defense, it looks like Western team isn't playing around, and they're not looking to give up the point anytime soon.
Yeah, we see Chaos diving in right now with the Battle Mercy, assisting on 1 kill, assisting on 2 kills.
Oh, Lucio Ball following up on Nessington as well. 5 seconds remaining. Nessington, or Asayada rather, the only one near the objective. And West is walking away with their 3rd win of the evening.
Yeah, very well done. They did what I kind of thought was
it? That's the thing I don't understand.
Like, well, they held first point.
Yeah, but they
the Torb 1v1. Absolutely phenomenal job. Look at that. Look at that play of the game.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing. They deserve that map win.
That is absolutely crazy. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pop onto the screen right now a poll for you all to take for our final map of the evening. And you have 2 interesting choices. We can either do a low gravity map, or we can do a super hyper awesome fun time, which will end up being a movement speed boosted map. So we're gonna max out movement speed, and if you've never seen that, let me tell you, it is gonna be crazy. So go ahead, pop your votes on the screen. All you have to do is click to vote on the screen right there, and it will put in your votes for what map type we're going to do for the final match of the evening between the Eastern and Western Platinum teams. So do you think that we might be seeing Eastern come back at least with 1 map here at the end?
It's gonna be difficult for them. West has been putting up such a dominant performance so far. Again, winning the Torb 1v1, winning 3 maps so far, doing it on quad DPS. West have looked like they have a lot of control over how these matches are played, and it's gonna be difficult for East, even with the modifiers, to overcome that unless they pull out some sort of miracle where they turn out to be really good at playing with one of those modifiers.
That is true, and the thing that I've seen before is it takes an incredible set of skills to be able to do things so quickly, which is looking like where we're going to end up going here in about 10 seconds we're gonna be popping the super fast, hyper awesome fun time match, which will be going to whatever map the Eastern team decides. So,
Oh, did we?
yep, 16-4, super fast, hyper awesome fun time.
You know, I
is
wonder if the name had anything to do with it.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe.
I don't know. I came up with it on the fly because we didn't really have a name before, so it should be interesting. So I'll go ahead and let the teams know. While we're doing that, go ahead and start talking about who y'all want to be your player of the match this evening. Dr. Heathen, where are you sitting on that?
I mean, the West has a lot of players that have been doing a lot. They are winning right now, and I like to pick from the winning side. They have a lot of players that have been pulling out a lot of value. We've seen Chaos constantly pulling out the Battle Mercy and getting picks. We've seen Muffins on the Snipers getting a lot of value. Kind of taking up that front position as the de facto main tank when there is no other by jumping on the Doomfist, initiating the dives. He's bringing a lot of value. It's been very difficult for East to lock this person down. And Lucio Ball has been playing the Pharah, has been playing a lot of characters, actually. He's gotten some good ultimates off on the Pharah, and he's been finding value pretty much everywhere. Those are kind of the characters that I've been looking at so far when thinking about who I would give MVP to at the end of the game.
It is definitely going to be interesting. It doesn't seem that we have picked a map just yet. So while we wait for that, I have to agree with you. The West has been bringing out a lot of amazing skill, but I have to say that Puff and Ray on the side of East have been doing just about as well to keep their team moving together. Once again, these teams are comprised of players from multiple teams. So unless they actually practiced, like since their team was constructed, they may not have that flow just yet. And it looks like Nessington is actually, who is leading right now, the East side, is going to let the West team pick the map. Apparently they're done throwing, whatever that means. So we'll go ahead and see what the West side picks. But if you're interested in watching more of this amazingness, this is actually the first of 3 All-Star matches technically it's the second, but I was meaning this week. This is the second All-Star match, first one this week. We will be having for sure the Masters All-Stars coming up on Friday. Tomorrow evening normally would have been the Diamond All-Stars. Either we will be post casting that for your all's entertainment pleasure, or we will be doing it on a different night just because it ended up conflicting with a playoffs match. So that's what we'll end up seeing tonight. So let's go ahead and a lot of great matches to look forward to this week, in my opinion. And then, of course, next week is the quarterfinals. Week after that, semifinals, and then each division final comes up. We're going to be seeing Platinum through Grandmaster going on, and it looks like we have decided. It looks like we're going to Paris. So super, super hyper awesome fun time on Paris. That is that's going to be interesting. The last time I saw this was on Temple of Anubis. There wasn't anywhere to like fall off the map. So with that whole edge of Paris to be able to shoot yourself off of by not paying attention, we could be seeing a very interesting matchup going on this evening. So it looks like our teams are ready. Let's go ahead and get things started as we move to our final matchup this evening, Paris.
Yeah. So 300% movement speed on this map. You touched on it a little bit, that there's a chance of people falling off the edge of the objective. But there is kind of that wall there, and there is the railing at the start that's going to make it a little bit more challenging to do, and I don't think it's going to happen a whole lot accidentally. The big thing is that with Paris, usually this is a bunker-centric map because of the time it takes for the attackers to walk up to the high ground the defense likes to hold. but with 300% movement speed, it's gonna be less of that because it's gonna be super simple for the attackers to run up on the high ground super easily, both directions if they feel like it before the attackers or the defenders, I mean, really have time to react. So it should change up the meta on this map quite significantly.
And there they go, folks.
It looks like the defense is going for the super fast goat composition. And I have to say, I don't think I'm valuing Lucio in this situation as much as normal.
Well, Lucio's a good pick because you have the AoE healing, and you pretty much stay on healing the entire time. I think right now that Pickles is on speed is just for lulz. And so this is definitely going to be interesting. But I thought I saw Sage on the Torp, which was actually a really good pick because that Torp turret focuses on everyone no matter how fast they're moving. So unless it gets taken out, it's going to be difficult. And here we go already on the objective. Boom, getting the boot kill onto Puff as they start working their way around. Everyone is just zooming back and forth, trying to get some damage on one another. And this is absolutely incredible right now. We're seeing Western side trying to continue to fight for the objective as Neutron ends up getting the tackle onto Chaos, which is something you are wanting to see. Neutron gets the shatter, but doesn't end up hitting much of anything as Kitsune takes down Ray on the Brigade. 3 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock, not a tick to be had just yet, as we're seeing Ostiana just standing on the point, not even worried about moving at this time. And there it goes, the first one right off the edge, thanks to Muppet. That move shoots them right off the edge, and that is it's looking to be a hold. You see Chaos now coming out of the Bastion, and Puff takes them out of the fight very quickly. The Primal Rage now coming out for Lucio Ball as they try to take control of the objective, but a continued fight from Neutron going in for the tackle, ends up missing. Muppets coming out with the barrage, ends up getting Nessington after the DMEC as Kitsune finds himself right off the edge, but takes Pickles with them. Ray able to follow up the flail onto Muffins right there. And honestly, I'm just going to take points where I need to breathe because this fight is going to actually be never-ending.
Okay, I'll take over for a moment. It looks like the respawns from both sides have managed to come back. That highest move speed is coming into play, but the respawn timer should be increasing as we lose Neutron. The main tank falling for the side of East, but it shouldn't matter as the shield wasn't making a difference anyways. But the swinging on point by Kitsune has been doing a little bit of damage. He's struggling to hit anyone at this moment. And it looks like Lucio Balls Winston might be the smarter play right now just for the AoE effect. But with that Puff being eliminated, Kitsune falling as well, the attackers are on point, but the defenders have their respawns coming in and have suddenly taken advantage in the objective progression so far. Also, Tidal online, and eyes are onto the Puff's Transcendence later, but Nessington did manage to get 2 picks, and it's difficult right now for Western to make a push without.
Alright, so tagging in, Muffin ends up taking down Pickles as the Grabcon ends up coming out for Ossiniana, trying to keep things going. Neutron able to take down Nessington, close up with the rockets, Molten Core ends up coming out for Sage, ends up picking the Torbjorn and taking down Neutron right there. And looking in the chat right now, everyone thinks it's absolutely incredible that we're even casting this match. And Nessington ends up getting the Deepa Bomb kill onto Muffins. Puff follows up onto Chaos right there. Second tick looking to be very close, and we got a Hammond coming out from Lucio Ball, just doing the spin to win on the side, looking to just try to hit anybody and everybody as much as possible, but everybody is moving around as the rally comes out from Ray. Here comes the shatter from Kitsune, ends up getting Ostiana and Neutron, but not enough follow damage as the shatter comes down from Neutron. Neutron finds himself off the edge of the map as they continue to fight for control of the objective. 60 seconds remaining right now as we are now seeing a Ghost Notes composition coming out from either side for the most part. Torture on the objective from Sage as they continue to fight forward. Ossiniana looks to try to take that down as the slam comes in from Lucio Ball. Here comes the beat drop coming in from Pickles as Ray ends up getting the kill on Muffins. Now swapped over to the Reaper. Spin to win still coming out from Lucio Ball as Muffins swapping back over to the Farah, looking to get some kills as the rally comes out from Ray, but they continue to hold on, ends up taking down Kitsune on the Reinhardt. The Torp turret coming out once again for Sage, but ends up getting taken down by Nessington very quickly. The Transcendence gets popped by Puff as they continue to fight for control of the objective. The beat drop now coming out from as they continue to hold on to the objective. Shatter coming out now from Neutron, ends up getting 2, but not a lot of follow-up damage as second Shatter now coming down from Kitsune, ends up getting 2, and ends up getting the tackle onto Ray as Muffin follows up on Pickles. Pickles. 4 seconds remaining on the clock as they continue to try to fight for control. And the question's going to be who's going to get moved off this objective first. Molten Core ends up getting laid down by Sage, as well as the minefield by Lucio Ball, as Lucio Ball ends up taking down Austin Yada and Puff. Chaos falls up on Neutron as him and Lucio Ball end up taking down Eel Pickles and Ray. And it looks like in overtime, they're going to end up taking the objective and move on to objective number 2 with 4 more minutes on the clock.
I think if overtime, respawn time is the only one that's really going to matter, because if everyone gets back to the objectives so fast, regardless of the watch time. And it looks like the spin to win has a lot more room, and it means it's going a lot faster this time. Some balls, Diva Bomb thrown up into the air. It's not going to continue by his legs forward. And the fight on the objective ensues as Ice Balls herself up. Muffin was fishing for some sort of directive, but it's so hard to hit anything right now. Sage Balls to pick up the AoE damage. It's been so effective right now in this fight. And the ultimate thing online, we see the minefield dropping from a super high distance and spreading over the entire point, but unconcentrated means it won't do a lot of damage. Muffin sees up too with the same rocket. Dragon Ball's coming out, managing to take out Pump, and it looks like the attackers have an advantage. But the defenders are so close to come out so fast that it might not matter. Grappling catches this. Lucio does fall. The defenders have a chance in this fight, taking out 2 members of the attacking team, but respawns are coming in from both sides. And 2 wrecking the point. Nobody can touch it. Go and take it.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take it up again. Yada ends up taking down Chaos, swapping over to the Junkrat. Very good play. We've got 2 Hammonds. Another ultimate coming out from Lucio Ball, looking to get some kills, but ends up getting taken out quickly by Ray. Almost ends up falling as New Pickles follows up on Kitsune right now. Right now, the chat is just blowing out. Is how the heck are we casting this without passing out? Well, we're taking the tag team for it, as we see the spin to win going on the objective once again. Neutron swapping over to the Symmetra, looking to use those turrets to their advantage. Muffin ends up getting the kill onto Austin Yada. The Maywall comes up, ends up defeating both of the spin to wins, and now Lucio Ball is back on the objective as the Meteor Strike comes down. We're now going to see the Blizzard out from Puff, but we see Lucio Ball moving so fast that he actually wasn't getting frozen till the very end, and now the Blizzard is right in the perfect position to make sure that Lucio Ball ends up falling, or sorry, not Lucio Ball, but Ray ends up falling and ends up taking them out of the fight, as well as Neutron by him. Here comes the Tac Visor, now out from Sage, who is coming in looking to do some damage against the Eel Pickles, but it's not going to be enough as they continue to fight. The minefield ends up getting popped out by Lucio Ball once again, and because they're moving so fast, ends up getting scattered. The point's unknown.
Muffin's building a rocket brush at 90%, and it looks like nobody's really able to stand on the point very long, but the spin to win is coming out from Ray at the moment, being supported by Eel Pickles. But the other Lucio can't get on point. He's just rolling around across the point, and it's going to be a freeze on Kitsune, who takes him out. And that's 2 falling for Wester. It looks like he's going to have taken the advantage right now, but Muffins does have his rocket brush ready. He's being pushed. He is low. He's in the corner, and he's going to be knocked out. And the defenders have ceased the combat.
We have half a second of breathing time because it is just the defenders right now. It looks like they're swapping up composition a little bit. Kitsune coming in now as the Moira, which is an interesting pick for this, but maybe not so much. You can essentially just throw balls all over the place, and the balls, I don't believe, will move as fast as everyone else is moving.
They move faster.
Do they?
Yeah, I think that's too.
Okay, it may be interesting. Here comes the wall, though, out from Neutron as they go ahead and start things off. The turrets end up taking down Chaos as Muffin falls up on Austin Yada's turret, and it is a continued fight in the side room right here. 20 seconds on the clock. The only one on the objective right now is Ray on the Hammond, as we now see try to touch the point, as well as Chaos trying to touch the point, as the Hammond now coming in. Lucio Ball looking to touch the point with the minefield, looking to get something, if anything, as we now go into overtime. The Blizzard's going to come out from Puff, looking to get somebody frozen if at all possible. The Diva Bomb also coming down from Nessington, doesn't end up getting much of anything. Overtime ticking away as Muffin gets the barrage onto Eel Pickles. The Eel Pickles ends up demexing Sage with the flail just before. Lucio Ball ends up taking down Neutron with the ball in chain as Sage follows up onto Austin Yada. Overtime continuing to tick away as Nessington and Puff continue to try to hold on with all their might, but it doesn't seem to be enough. Austin Yada ends up popping out the molten core and takes down Chaos, but will it be enough as the turret ends up falling? We're gonna see Neutron come back out as the Reinhardt looking to get that tackle, but Lucio Ball ends up dropping the minefield, takes down Asuniyata. The Muppet follows up on the turret. Pickle is following up on Kitsune. In return, as the Blizzard ends up coming out for Chaos, looking to cause some chaos on the objective. Overtime continuing to tick away right now, and with the spawn advantage, it's being incredibly difficult for them to keep them out of the fight. Diva Bomb ends up coming down for Sage, just then it's getting much of anything as the tackle comes in from Neutron, ends up missing. Minefield now coming out for Ray, looking to do some damage, but it's so spread out, it doesn't seem to be doing much except keep meching Sage. Real Pickle follows up on Chaos. It is now 5v6 fight on the objective. Dr. Heathen!
And it looks like Earshot is going to land and connects up 1-2, taking out for the side of West. West is in trouble right now, as they lose their deep mech as well, and it looks like Puff is running around the point, but this freeze he's going to catch up Diva, who falls as well, and it's just Hammond left, and he's going to spin around, but he's going to be stunned up. He's flying low, he's flying away, and he can't make it back! That's going to be the round. No progress on second point.
No progress on second point, it was just too close. It was just too close for the defenders to get back.
Really, the only thing that's going to matter in these engagements is the overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Because the spawn time does start to increase, and it means they can't run all the way back to spawn room to the fight before the next teammate dies, as a lot of people have been doing recently. And it's the only time, it's 2 of the 3 times fights ended was during overtime that match, and that's really all it's going to come down to. So the attackers may want to realize that. They may want to just save up their ultimates for the overtime push and build around that idea. That would be at least my interpretation of what's been going on so far.
So I'm not for certain if J-Dash is asking us to do total mayhem along with this, because I don't think the game would ever end at that aspect. Like, I don't think you could be moving this fast and have, like, what is it, 200 health or something like that?
200%?
Like,
something crazy. Might be 300%. It's been a while since I've touched total mayhem.
We were getting some love in the chat though. Clean Linen saying next All-Star match we need an ambulance with oxygen tank on site for the caster. Well, we might not do this again tomorrow, and if we do, I'm definitely not casting it, so I'll be okay. Don't you worry about it. You just follow along as best as you can, Nee. It's okay.
Maybe just
Nee
what
is
I've been
having
doing
a hard
with
time
camera.
following along because everyone's moving around so fast, but we're already back into the action. Now we're gonna see if East can be able to take West off the objective. Sage ends up getting the first kill onto Ray. This is going to
And he goes flying, he can't make it
difficult
back.
as Sage ends up falling off the map themselves. Chaos as well as they get taken out by Neutron. That's going to be a 4v5 fight on the objective right now, and we just see swinging flails and hammers and balls and charges. Asuniyata uses the shirt to take down as the minefield already getting popped out by Lucio Ball, as Nestington ends up finding themselves over the edge as well. We're going to see the spin to win coming back out from Lucio Ball, trying to see if they can take down Pup, who is currently on the Junkrat. Chaos is able to follow up onto Neutron as Asuniyata takes down Kitsune. The freeze ends up coming in onto Asuniyata from Muffins, but not being able to follow up on the kill for that. It's going to be tough, but they are able to take down Asuniyata's turret. They're still fighting for control of the point, and here comes a really fast tire. Holy goodness, doesn't end up getting much of anything because it's just moving all over the place. Lucio Ball ends up taking down Nestington with the ball in chain. As we see the coalescence now coming out, Wario Pickles as well as the minefield coming out in return from Lucio Ball, ends up getting the double kill on Pup and Ray as they continue to fight for power over objective 1. Muffins follows up on Asuniyata. The only one left on the objective right now is Neutron, comes in with the shatter, ends up missing, getting hooked and killed by Kitsune at the end right there. As Muffins ends up following up on you Pickles, it doesn't look like the East is having an easy time trying to grab this objective.
Yeah, we actually have a break in the fight, which is kind of weird. Not something we saw last time, which means that they've gotten their kills a lot faster. But going into this next objective, Muffins is sitting with his ultimate, but he's going to be taken out immediately from the fight. Multi-core drop that point. There is a Junkrat trap there. So whoever touches it on West might get stuck in the middle of the one corner, but nobody is. Looks like Sage is jumping in. He's not going to find anything with that punch, but he loses the majority of his health. And it looks like West is running back into the room to get the health back. Who's going to be taking out the ball as well?
Oh, there goes Doomfist too. Sage finding themselves booped right off the side of the map. Oh goodness, but it looks like the Blizzard ends up clearing the objective for Muffins. Muffins looking to get taken out though, if they're not careful. And we're seeing now Lucio Ball and Sage get back into the fight. The Demon Bomb comes down from Chaos, but doesn't end up hitting much of anything as Puff takes down Muffins. Following up on Asuniata with the boot kill as Sage uses the Meteor Strike to take down Asuniata. Here comes the tire once again, ends up hitting Kitsune as they can when the Clean Linen's in the chat saying when the tire is the same speed as pre-nerf and that is pretty crazy. Asuniata able to get a Sonic Arrow kill onto Lucio Ball as Neutron gets the Fire Strike onto Sage. Lucio Ball does take down Nessington with the Minefield, which is looking to work out in their favor right now as they continue to fight forward. Puff looking to gain control of the objective as they lay down trap after trap trying to catch somebody. Lucio Ball ends up getting the chain kill onto Neutron as Puff follows up onto Sage. 30 seconds left on the clock right now as Lucio Ball ends up taking down Ray. The Minefield now coming down from Lucio Ball once again, ends up getting Nessington, but Asuniata follows up onto Lucio Ball. And I really want to see if we end up seeing or actually, they don't have the Torb anymore for Asuniata, so we won't be seeing that this time around, but the Blizzard will end up coming out for Ray as we see the hook come in for Kitsune. I'm actually kind of surprised that Kitsune is getting the hooks they are, but with as fast as people are moving right now. Just absolutely incredible. Lucio Ball gets the double ball with chain kill onto Ray, and Ew Pickles at the Dragon Strike, slowly moving its way across the objective as Hoom gets the boot kill onto Neutron. Overtime ticking away right now as they continue to fight for control of the objective. Nessington boots Sage into oblivion as we see a majority of red showing up on the objective. Blue working their way back in. East not giving this up without a fight as Puff ends up taking down Muffins following up on Ray as Nessington ends up getting taken out by Lucio Ball's ball and chain. And we're going to see now a Neutron out as the Hammond ends up getting booped off by Lucio Ball as the Minefield takes down Puff. And West is going to walk away with the 4-0 this evening against the Eastern Division team during their All-Stars match for Platinum Division. Play of the game, of course, had to go to one of the Hammonds, and it's gonna be Lucio Ball.
What's it look like? God, Physics Engine clearly was not intended for this because Lucio Ball and Reinhardt Charge phased through Ice Block.
Really?
We saw Ryan running into, I think it was Muffin's Ice Block and just phasing straight through him.
Wow.
And on top of that, if you hit it at all, you're on the other side of the map. But it doesn't really matter because you can cross the map in a quarter of a second anyway, so Ryan's can use charge. They just never were able to hit anything.
Oh my goodness. Well, folks, that is going to be the end of our stream for this evening. It looks like the West outbeats the East during this all-star game for the Platinum Division. So go ahead, start blowing up the chat with who y'all want your players of the match to be this evening. I'm going to go ahead and start us off, and I think after that last match, I gotta give it to Lucio Ball. I don't think I could honestly give it to anyone else at this point, because to be able to not only work with such a very precision character, like you've got to get that chain in the right position to be able to work the way that Lucio Ball was, and despite the fact that the minefield was going all over the place, was still able to get mines in certain positions that worked to their advantage. It's just absolutely incredible, as well as during the rest of the match as well. Not just that fun part there. Lucio Ball was doing an incredible job as one of the tanks for the West team, being able to get picks from time to time, supporting the team throughout the entire match. So Lucio Ball, you're walking away with my player of the match this evening. How about you, Dr. Heathen?
Of course, I think it should be obvious at this point who my player of the game is going to be. It's going to be Sage for winning the Torb 1v1, the most impactful play in the entire match. Absolutely amazing. The true test of skill right there, and he won it. It was the reason that he's going to be walking away with my MVP.
All right. Nee, I just typed this in the chat, but I was a little slow right there. Would you like to join us and give a player of the match as well?
I mean, for me, honestly, I would have to go with Lucio Ball as well. Just being able to get as many kills as he was on that Hammond was incredibly impressive, especially, I mean, even though he was just doing a spin to win towards the end, it's still, you have to maintain speed the entire time, or else that spin to win is not effective, and to do that at max speed was insane. Like, I'm trying to follow along with this thing.
I hope you didn't zoom in on anyone during that entire thing.
I did a few times. Like, I did on a couple of the Hammonds, and I zoomed in on the on the Junkrat when he was doing his tire, because it was just it's a wild ride at max speed.
I would imagine it's a wild ride. Looking in the chat, it looks like Lucio Ball is a favorite to many, as well as Neutron getting some love from Umatora. And other than that, Comet giving some love to Ew Pickles and saying Doomfist teleports, LOL. And I wasn't actually watching all that, so maybe based on how fast Doomfist moves during his punch, maybe it seems like he's teleporting from like one place to another.
The physics engine was not okay with Doomfist's punch. So the movement speed increase changes how far his rocket punch goes, but it can't change how far his slam goes, because that's predetermined.
Yeah.
So like the first rocket punch he did, he flew straight off the match, turned around, and couldn't seismic slam back because it's too far.
Wow, that is absolutely crazy right there. Well, folks, we hope you all enjoyed the match today. It looks like Clean Linen's giving you and me the official player of the match for being able to actually withstand casting that. And I've done it once before. It's a lot of fun to do because honestly, like, as fast as you have to think as a caster to begin with, and then you have to think that much faster to feel that much more that's going on. It is just, props to you, Dr. Heathen, to be able to follow up with me on that, because it was absolutely incredible. And of course, we want to thank our caster, our producer rather, First Night of Knee, for jumping in at the last minute and helping us out so that we could bring you this All-Stars game tonight. But that's going to be it from us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night. We'll have our last of the play-in matches for Platinum Division. I forget exactly which teams are going at it. I think it's Conference 1 that's doing it. Let me check the schedule real quick. I forget that I actually don't have to talk fast anymore. Like, you get in that rhythm after it's done.
Nebula Phoenix versus Hailstorm Gaming.
All right, so that is going to be the main cast for tomorrow. As we said earlier on, initially the Diamond All-Star match was planned for tomorrow, but since one of the only nights that really worked for the play-in teams was tomorrow night, we want to make sure that that gets cast. So either the Diamond All-Star match will be moved to a different date, or it will end up being post-casted, and we'll make sure one way or another that it's just as crazy as Platinum and Gold have both been. So be sure to tune in for that. You can catch the Masters All-Star game on Friday evening, and Saturday evening we don't currently have anything scheduled, but stick around because we may have something going on. Be sure to hit that follow button or that subscribe button at the top of your screen to be able to follow the Rose League as we continue towards the end of season 2. It brings a little tear to my eye, but it has been such a fun ride this season, and I am just so excited to see what's going to come in the future for us. So with that being said, that's it for us here at the Rose League. Catch us on the rest of the week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've been Captain Jack.
And I've been Heathen.
And we will catch you all next time.